Today's session was absolutely wild, and Nvidia at one point hit lows of $87.32. And today, with a massive bounce of about 11%, we have actually closed green. Now, for the past couple of months, you guys know that we have been bearish on Nvidia. We broke the weekly market bias back here on the 27th of January. On top of that, to make things worse, we also saw the monthly BX trender, which is the oscillator indicator at the bottom of your screen, turn red at the end of January. And these have been our macro bearish triggers for Nvidia. Now, did we know that this was going to be tariffs? Did we know that it was going to be self-induced? No, and none of that matters, right? Because at the end of the day, if I'm watching buying pressure coming out of the stock, I don't want to be trading it. If I'm watching buying pressure coming into the stock, then regardless of what's happening with the news right now, I want to buy it. This is why we had given a downside target on Nvidia, worst case from $90 down to $80. Now, the reason for this is because of the monthly market bias. Now, this larger term green tape indicator here is an indication of institutional buying. Normally, this is where we will see these levels come in. Take that part out. Now, this indicator is normally a very, very strong support level, and it's actually extremely rare for us to pull back down into this monthly market bias. But as we saw that weekly break, the idea that we were going to sell off set in, and that is where our support levels have been. Now, if we take a look just at the actual pattern that is setting up here, for those of you who are technical pattern traders, unfortunately, we have a potential left shoulder forming here. Price came back down to tap an equal low. Price pushed up to make a higher high. This is where the head comes into place. Now we're tapping this low. It looks like price will want to bounce maybe back up to 120, 130, and then that could be the potential head and shoulders play. And normally when this happens, we will see a break through this neckline support, which would be $90, and price will sell off pretty aggressively. In this case, that would give us a downside target of somewhere between $50 to $60. And I do believe that there's probably a 50-50 chance that that happens. I feel that we would actually have to move into a full-blown recession in order for that to occur. You guys know at the end of the day, I'm not somebody who likes to fearmonger. I am not somebody who is telling you the world is going to end. 90% of the time, the market is going up and to the right, and these are normally just good buying opportunities. But I do want you to see that if we move this bias to the quarterly instead of the monthly, the only time we have ever actually trended below that for a sustained period of time was through 2009 and 2010, and then back in the dot-com bubble. So if we end up breaking the monthly bias at 80, I think the absolute worst case scenario would be $50. But like I said, I think there's a pretty low chance that that happens. Now, my personal plan as of right now is that I was hoping to turn my long bots on for Nvidia if we were coming back down to tap $80. And unfortunately, that has not happened. So I did not go through and turn on any of my bots at this point. If we see price continue to move down to $85 or $80 in the coming weeks, then I will look to turn them on. I will look to play Nvidia to the upside, but without the BX making a higher low yet, I don't think that this is entirely the bottom just yet. It does seem like we could get a short-term bounce, like we said, back up to 110 or 120, but I don't have to force anything here. We have done very, very well in the past couple of weeks. Even though Thursday was one of our biggest losses, we turned our short bots on. Friday, we did really well. This morning, we did really well. I pulled a lot of the short bots off since we're pulling into monthly market biases, which is normally where we will bounce. And now I'm looking to hopefully play a bounce in the market over the next couple of weeks. If you've been patient this entire time, guys, congratulations, because we have been tracking this breakdown for 3 to 4 months now, and I've barely taken any positions, one small trade basically in the past 4.5, 5 months for Nvidia. And this is what professional trading looks like, right? It requires patience, it requires discipline, it requires not trying to take 1,000 trades unless we're actually in a specific area that's meant to do that. But right now, things are playing out to perfection. We are going to get a good deal on Nvidia if we continue to pull back. And if you are somebody who got in today, congratulations. I think there's a pretty good chance we're going to hold this support level in the coming weeks. And like we said, if not, worst case is $50. If you want to learn our full trading system completely for free, the link to all of our trading courses are in the description. I highly recommend starting with the Elite Trader Playbook, as it will give you a step-by-step checklist that shows when we enter and when we exit positions. And if you want to trade with me live each and every single day, get access to all of our real-time trade alerts and our trading bots, then join the Discord community down below. We open 10 slots each and every single day, and you can use the code BX50 to start for 50% off your first month. I'll see you guys tomorrow.